So there are many that are talking about voting tactically in order to unseat Prime Minister Theresa May on the 8th of June. So I just ask anybody, be you UKIP or Labour or the Green Party or Liberal Democrats, who had any doubts when they voted to remain because they were fearful about what would happen to the economy. I was also fearful, but what persuaded me was the fact that two ex-Chancellor of the Exchequers, plus a variety of experienced MPs, were willing to vote out. Now, these people, particularly the Chancellor of the Exchequer, two of them at least, know how a budget for our nation, and they know all about the economy and how a Brexit would affect us, and they're willing to vote out. So, plus other MPs that also are experienced and know about the running of the country. So, you know, I haven't got that knowledge. I don't know. I have to trust somebody else in that. So, you may be worried about the economy. I was worried about the economy. But the thing is, we don't have to worry about the economy to an extent, because there are others who are more knowledgeable than we are that are willing to take that chance. And not just one or two, a lot. So if we trust in that, and then I'm fearful as to what will happen if this immigration continues as it is. I'm not racist, but the numbers are so profound that are coming into our nation, and until this last 5 years, and particularly during the referendum that I looked into it, I was oblivious to it. I'll give you a couple of very basic figures. We've got 3.2 million EU citizens in the UK at the moment, the UK being the most densely populated nation after Japan. And then in all of the 27 nations of the EU, we've got only 1.2 million citizens in 27 nations, and yet 3.2 million in just the little island of Britain. So if you stop to think about that, and then on top of that, they say we have 300,000 new immigrants that remain. In other words, 300,000 new citizens that come to stay every year. They say with the equivalent of the city size of Leicester, for instance. So as if we just take the 3.2 million new EU citizens, that's 3.2 million jobs that could have been the UK citizens, for the UK citizens, 3.2 million first-time buyer homes or otherwise could have been for UK citizens, and 3.2 million people making demands on the NHS. So that's 3.2 million that we have to absorb into our society. Now, you all know how the NHS is under pressure. There are no school places for our own children. There's no homes for first-time buyers. And this is why we can't sustain this anymore. Because in Britain is too much of an attraction for too many EU citizens. 500 million could come here, for all we know. And the EU contract we have is onerous to us. You know, it's unbalanced to us. It's causing us damage. It's unfair because we have a massive amount of EU countries that are quite poor. They don't have the same benefits that we do. They don't have the jobs that we have. And they come here. And we cannot sustain it. We'd be ruined. And this is why we have to be brave. It's not being racist. We have to be brave to stop it. Because the Eurocrazy, the Eurocrats ideal isn't working for us. It's onerous for us. It's overburdening us, which could be a reason, a clause in the EU contract perhaps, where overburdening of a nation is a reason that EU citizens should leave. Because, you know, you like myself, we're working hard, we don't have much time to think, much time to listen to the radio, much time to read, and we don't know really what's going on. Like the Maastricht Treaty is when this decision was made to allow Europeans to enter each and every country, and for us to have to support them and to give them voting rights and that sort of thing. And I remember there were not riots, but people protesting about this, that we shouldn't be signing it. And I didn't take much notice. But that was the key issue when we should have taken notice, and we all need to be taking notice how our politicians are governing our country. Now, Nigel Farage at that point set up UKIP because he could see what was going on, and it's taken him 20 years, and even the year of the referendum, the words finally penetrated into my consciousness that we cannot control immigration unless we come out of the EU. We're not racist. EU citizens have been racist against me since the referendum, simply because I voted to come out of the EU. So this racism works both ways. And isn't it rather racist and a bullying of 27 nations of the EU to round up or gang up upon the little island of Britain, saying that first it was 30 billion, then it's 50 billion, now it's 100 billion that we have to pay to come out. And on the top of that, we've got to give indefinite protections to the 3.2 million citizens here in the UK. And on top of that, we've got to pay quite a large amount to the Polish and the French farmers due to the common agricultural policy. And what have I done? All I've done is said, look, this contract that we have with the EU isn't working for Britain. We're too much of an attraction for too many people, and we can't sustain it. So I again say, please vote Conservative. You may not be naturally Conservative. I'm not necessarily Conservative all the time. But at this issue, at this particular election, you've got to think of the country, and that the only person, whether we stay in or stay out of the EU, that can deal with this issue sensibly, it's going to be Theresa May. Just trust it will be all right. There's a new vision, there's a new life, there's a new hope out there. It may be difficult for a little while, but it will be different. We'll be free. And that is what democracy is all about. Eurocrazy, Eurocracy, means that we have to abide by the rules from people that we can't vote in or out. And this is what's ruining our nation at this moment.